Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that's been able to transform and change my life into being what it is that I do and what it is that I think, what it is that I believe today. And that story is the story of Moses. The story of Moses when God came to speak to Moses after everybody was getting out of Egypt. And God was basically had to put some rules and some guidelines and some stipulations upon what it is that we should follow. Not in a way to enslave us, destroy us, damage us, hinder us, slow us down, but in a way to make sure that we are able to have an exponential amount of growth, an exponential amount of freedom is what I want to say on this planet. That a lot of times people think that when God is putting rules upon you, that these rules are here to just slow you down, damage you, hinder you, just destroy you. When in reality, the rules may seem that way. Things that God is asking for from us may feel that way at first because you're a part of something that is of this world that is making you feel good in the moment, making you feel like everything is awesome and everything is great. But yet you have this emptiness inside of you. And the emptiness inside of you is why I'm here, standing here, talking, saying what I'm saying, and the reason that there's many other people out there that are doing it, because I was a person that had that emptiness inside of me that was like, everything that I'm doing, every pleasure I'm seeking, everything that I'm trying to just attach on and latch on to it's not filling me. It's not fulfilling me. It's not bringing anything to me. It's not bringing joy to me. It's not bringing peace to me. So it's for me to have to really figure out what it is that's going to be able to do that. And this story here is in the book of Exodus, and it really starts to me in the 19th chapter of talking about the commandments of what it is that Moses was instructed to do to be able to speak to the people. And then at the same time, Moses saying, God, if you're real, I need you to be able to also show yourself to other people and not just me. And it's something that's very interesting because this story is a story that I was taught and shown and spoke about many times. And it's always been a story of like a guy going to a bush and the bush this, and he comes back with these tablets and he gives everyone these 10 commandments. But when I read this book myself, I find something completely different. Completely different in the sense that God says to Moses, I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. You can't just be the guy that just shows up and appears with this information and just everyone believe it just because. God's going to have to do something spectacular, something magical, something amazing to be able to allow everyone around also to be able to see and witness, to realize who God and what God is all about and what his true power is. And when you read this, you really get a good sense of understanding exactly who God is and what he represents and what he's all about. That he's not here to hurt us and he's not here to harm us. He knows that his presence is so powerful that it's too much for us to be able to handle. So he does things and puts things in place to make sure that we don't put ourselves too close to him, that he's put a barrier there to make sure that we are able to withstand, I want to say, his glory. Or someone might say his damnation of some sort, but you're confused. Because if he warns you up front about, hey, watch out for this and watch out for that, he's looking out for the best of you to make sure that you don't get hurt, that you don't get harmed. And a lot of times the 10 Commandments, the main thing that I want to start talking about, and I'm just going to go day by day on each one and talk a little bit about what it is that I've gone through to be able to realize what it is I need to change to be able to get the peace that I'm looking for inside of me, to be able to fill me up so that I don't feel like I'm here alone and I got to figure it all out and I got to do it and everyone's out to get me and everyone's here to hurt me and all these what I'm going to say are negative things that the world really likes to push upon us to make us think that this is what we have to deal with. And in reality, it's not what you have to deal with when you have a good understanding of knowing who God is. But the basics of this story really just come down to the concept of Moses asking about going to the mountain. So he goes to the mountain Sinai. However you say that. I'm not good with words. I'm not good with names. I'm not good with all that. But there's one thing that I do know, that as confused as I can be with names and words and all these things, God helps me out with it, and he allows me to be able to get through it. He allows me to be able to figure out exactly how to be able to get out, what it is that I need to be able to get out, and he allows me to be able to figure out how to be able to read this so that I can understand it. And then he's given me the ability to be able to read. He's taught me. Someone might say that a teacher taught me how to read. No. It was already inside of us. We already had the language. It was just a matter of us putting it out there. And it's something that I'm going to say again with this Bible. It's already inside of us. It's already in us. That's why a lot of what we do and how we do things, We already do it. And then we just come to this and we're just like, oh, that I already knew that. I'm all about that. That's just what I'm about. But sometimes we need a little bit of reassurance is what I'm going to say. Sometimes we need a little bit of something to just back down and double down with what it is that we're doing. And that's where this is a beautiful story, because Moses goes to the Lord because the Lord approaches him. God approaches him and he's saying to him, hey man, I need you to say this to the people. I just got y'all out of the slavery, out of the issues, out of the problems. And now I'm going to bring you here. And now that you're here, you're going to be lost and confused of not sure what to do, not sure where to go, not sure how to make some things happen. So it's very interesting that in reality, the more and more I read this book, this book is geared towards the understanding of knowing that there's certain people that this book is speaking to. It's not speaking to everybody, because the people that were in Egypt that they left from, he's not speaking to them. God's not talking to them. He's talking to a specific people and a specific group and a specific whatever it is about them, that there's something different. I don't want to say different, but more about them. But yeah, I can in reality say different based on exactly what this text is stating. Not that the people that they left can't come to God, can't get a good understanding of him, but he already knows that there's some people that just don't want to listen, that don't want to do, that don't want to know, that don't want to do any, that don't care, that just will 100% completely reject everything that's in this. There's some people that I don't care what you say to them, what you do to them, how you say it, whatever transformation you've ever had in your life. Some people just are going to completely reject it just because. And then there's other people that need to start to become, a good term is awakened to understanding who you are, what you represent, and what you are to be doing on this planet. And that's for me, that I guess I can say that I've been awakened to do what it is that I need to do on this planet, that I'm no longer a person that's just going to be sitting and wondering. I'm a person that's going to be stand up and doing. And that's the concept of what God constantly keeps doing to people throughout this book. And this is what he's done to Moses. Moses was just a man doing, living, being. And then one day in reality, God just came to him and said, hey man, I need you to perform. I need you to make something happen, because people are hurting, people are struggling, people are confused. And one thing that God isn't about is confusion. And one thing that he really wants to bring to us is clarity. And that's exactly what God has brought to us as a people that want to get closer to him, want to understand him, want to get fulfilled with knowing what peace and what joy and what freedom is all about. So Moses, the Lord says to Moses, so we're in the Exodus of the 19th to the 10th verse. I'm just going to start at the 10th verse here. I don't know why the specific 10th verse, but something to me just gave me inspiration to just want to talk about the 10th verse. And the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, have them wash their clothes, be ready for the third day. I will come down to the Mount Sinai, and in the sight of all people, put limits for the people around the mountain, and tell them, be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch it, or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the mountain will be put to death. Some serious stuff that he's saying. Be careful, because I'm coming. I'm going to show myself to everybody. I'm going to expose myself to everybody. This is God speaking to us. He's going to expose himself to us to let you know that this isn't fake, that this isn't some story of some guy that's just I hate saying it like this, but a loony bin, a Looney Tune, a guy that just doesn't know, a guy that's just confused, a guy that's just I gotta say it like that just looked into a hat and came up with what it is that we need to do. No, God has exposed himself to everybody, everyone. It's not just a one person, to everyone. He was speaking directly to one, but he showed himself. And the way he showed himself is a very interesting way, because a lot of times the things that we are kind of scared of around here is the way that God shows himself, that he really prepares to bring himself out. And it's very interesting, because it's just clean as day exactly how he shows himself as he says it. So going down to verse 16, it says, on the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning with a thick cloud over the mountain and a loud, very loud trumpet blast. It's very interesting, because God comes and there's thunder and lightning going on. God shows up and appears in a time that most people are, in reality, hiding under the shelter, running away, figuring out how to get out of here, figuring out how to hunker down to get out, because it's raining. And when it's thundering and it's lightning, it's serious. It's not just a little sprinkle where it's pretty to run around and play in. No, it's some serious stuff that's about to happen. Some serious stuff that's coming through. And God comes through with some, what I'm going to say is, us as humans look at as seriousness, as God looks as just something of his creation, of what it is that he's doing. Then Moses led the people to the camp
the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because, and this is interesting, because we got thunder and lightning, which brings rain. It's very strange because now the mountain is covered with smoke. It's like smoke. Smoke comes from what? Fire. Because what does God come? The Lord descends on it in fire. So there's thunder and lightning going on, and now there's some smoke, and now God is coming down in fire. This is some extreme, just some, I don't know, to me, I would love to be able to see such a thing. Because there's something like that we as humans are incapable of being able to do. When it's raining out, try to start a fire. Go ahead and make it happen. Go ahead and do it. And let alone that, an entire mountain. So that's how God is able to show himself to really let the people know this isn't just some guy with a magic trick going on behind the scenes. No, this is something of extreme value here. To have an entire mountain, clouds over it, rain down on it, smoke over the entire mountain, and then fire coming down on it. That's there's no magic tricks behind this. This is something that has happened, that was purposely done, that we as human beings, I can almost just say this today, is try and replicate such a thing. Try and do that. Try and make that happen. And having the people around being able to see it and being able to make sure that the people are seeing what is real and what is reality. I don't want no CG screen and people, fake actors. I'm talking real people that are confused, real people that are questioning, real people that are wanting the answers, real people that are looking for their freedom, and have them stand there and be able to pull something like this off. It's not going to happen. So the Lord descends down. So going down to the 20th verse. The Lord descended to the top of the mountain, and Moses called to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn people so they do not force their way through to see the Lord, and many of them perish. Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up the mountain, because you yourselves warned us. Put limits around the mountain so that it's apart as holy." The Lord replied, "Go down and bring Aaron up with you, and the priests and the people must not force their way through to come up to the Lord, or he will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them. And then this is where we get into Exodus 20, where in my book, it straight up says the 10 Commandments. This is a very interesting book that these NIVs that really, they put chapter to chapter to chapter together, and they give you a upfront little, I guess, idea of what this entire chapter is about to be about. So this entire chapter is about to be about is the 10 Commandments. And God spoke all of these words. This is something that people are able to understand. People are able to see. People are able to witness. We've got the thunder and lightning going on. We got the trumpets blazing. They're so loud that the people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is loud. This is loud. This is a little too much." We got the smoke. Hey, Johnny. We got the smoke coming up because God is coming down on the fire. And the people are seeing and witnessing all this. And then Moses comes down. And then God says, "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery." And then the first one is the only one we're going to talk about today. You shall have no other gods before me." This is very interesting because it's just straight up and straight up direct. Where in reality, the first four are very, very similar on the sense of what it is that God is looking for from us with God. That we are to not have anything else to have as a God above and beyond this God. And then I want to go read to the 22nd verse, which this part starts with the idols and altars. And when the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites this, you have seen for yourselves that I have spoken to you from heaven. Do not make any gods to go alongside me. Do not make for yourselves gods of silver or gods of gold." That is very, very interesting because to me, that's just some very upfront, very direct, very to the point, very specific things for right up front to pay attention to just realize. And that one thing right there, there's 10 of these commandments, and that one right there is a start of being able to understand who God is, to be able to appreciate who God is, be able to have a good sense of
how to be able to get yourself out of the slavery that you're in. And just believing in him, knowing him, and being able to put to yourself that there's only one God. There's no God of anything else out here. And it's interesting how it says God of silver or God of gold, because that's almost like we call that a foreshadow for the future of what's to come, of other parts in that Bible that he talks about, where don't make money a God. Don't try to fight your whole life to try to get something of some sort of substance to try to put above what God is all about. Don't try to go out there and try to create anything that you're going to think about, want to handle, want to touch, want to be about more than God. Don't go out there and think that the rain is something that you should pray more about than with God. If you're hurting, like out here, for me personally, I'm hurting a little bit with, I wish it would rain, but it doesn't technically in reality usually rain at this time. But I'm not going to go out there and pray, please, rain, rain, come, rain, rain. We got rain dance songs, we got all this stuff. No, I go to God and I say, hey, God, I know you're the one in control of this rain. I know you're the one in control of this weather. I know you're the one that could do something about it. And if it's in your means to do something about it, and it's in your wants to do something about it, and your desires to be able to give to me something that's going to be able to help me out and be able to benefit me, and be able to put some ease onto my animals, to get them to be able to have some sort of relaxation, because the rain, when it comes, it brings relaxation. God, you are the one that is able to do such a thing. We make sure that we are doing everything in the sense of knowing that God is the one that did it. Just like God is the one that has allowed me to be able to be here, to be able to do this, to be able to make this happen. He's allowed me to be able to wake up. He's allowed me to be able to go to sleep. He's allowed me to be able to eat. He's allowed me to be able to drink some water today. He's allowed me to be able to sit in my house. He's allowed me to be able to have air conditioning on a day when my car is saying that it's 115 degrees. It is hot today, and it's been hot. And that's why, for me, I pray, hey, God, I'd like something to be able to bring some ease out here, because I know the animals are struggling. I know they're desiring some more. I know the pig would love to be able to have more muddy baths that he could just roll around in and play in, and be able to dig in the dirt again a little bit more. And it's not to go and pray to the rain. It's not to pray to the thunder. It's not to pray to the lightning. It's not to pray to the fire. It's not to pray to the moon. It's not to pray to the sun. It's not to pray to my dog, to my cats. It's not to pray to myself. It's not to pray to you. It's not to pray to any of that. It's to pray to God and say, hey, God, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. And this is what's going on. And that's a number one step. And I still get fascinated with everything in order, and everything in the way that it's stated, and everything in the way that it is, and up front. And that's what he's instructing, and saying, and asking. He's not forcing anything on you. You can do what you want to do. He's asking. This is what is going to be able to do for you to be able to have the freedom that you're looking for, to be able to have the joy that you're looking for. If you don't want that, cool. Then go keep doing what you were doing. Go keep making happen what you want to make happen. But if you do want a better life, if you do want a better way, if you do want a way to be able to figure out how to be able to get out of your addictions, if you do want a way to figure out how to be able to get out of your lust, if you do want a way to be able to figure out how to be able to get out of your toxic relationships, if you do want to figure out ways of being able to do stuff like that, then understand that God is the one God. God is the one that created this. God is the one that made this. God is the one that's going to continue to keep on working upon this. God is the one that's going to continue to keep on making sure that things are going to be able to go smooth for you in your life. God is the one that's going to be able to just continuously make sure that you are blessed. Because for me, when I read all of these stories, and I read about Jacob, and I read about Joseph, and I read about Isaac, and I read about Moses, and I read about these guys, and I read about Abraham, I want to have that favor that they've had. They've had fantastic lives. They've had great lives. They've had stuff would just show up. And that's what, for me, I'm telling you, the more and more that I keep appreciating God and praying to God and wondering about God and desiring God, the more that I see that I start to be able to have that favor. That when I look at, when I read stories, it's just fascinating, the work and the stuff that I play with. I don't want to call it work, my hobby of playing with these animals and this farm work out here. It's a hobby to me. It's fascinating. It's not work, even though it's work. It's serious, but it's exciting in a way that when I hear the favor that these guys have had, when their flocks were growing and their animals were healthy and things were going, that's what I see out here personally. It's fascinating for me to be able to have that exact same way of looking at what it is that I'm doing out here. Not looking at a computer software system that's getting better and growing and looking nicer. No, but actually living exactly what that book is even talking about. That when their animals were mating and doing and getting better and better and growing more and more, that's what I see out here with what it is that I'm doing. That's what I see with my cows. I started with 2, and then all of a sudden I ended up with 6, and then I had 7, and then I had 8, and then I had got rid of 1 so that I could eat for years to come. And then there's still more that's going on. That's what I see with my chicks out here. I started with a few. I started with 10 of them, so 8 females,
And I lost a couple, unfortunately, and that's just the way it works. Because for me personally, I had a not good understanding of knowing how to take care of some things. I had a not good understanding of knowing who it is that in reality I should be praying to, and what it is I should be praying to, and how it is I should be doing some things. That I really just grew up to understand and really appreciate God even more. And God has shown me that just with the small number that I had, that's grown into, I don't even know what the number is today. It's so great. And knowing that now when I start to remake that, rebreed that, that it's going to really turn into, hey, Oreo, it's going to really turn into something even more and more and more and more. It's going to no longer go from 6 to 200, but it's going to go from 200 to 2 to 3 to 4,000. It's incredible what God is able to do. And I would want that favor to be upon everyone. And I want that favor to be in your life as much as I feel like that favor is in my life. That I don't do everything perfect. I'm not some sinless, just God on this planet. No, I mess up, I fail. But there's one thing that I do know, that as long as I pay close attention to what it is that this book straight up says for me to do, the more better my life seems to keep on getting. The more clarity I keep getting, the more out of any sort of confusion that I keep getting. Yes, I do things that I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm sinning or not, that I'm not correct with what it is that I'm doing. But as far as the things that I know for a fact that I'm not supposed to be and should be trying to stay away from, I do my best, my absolute best to stay away from that. And if I do have a mistake where I mess up, I know exactly where to turn to. I don't run away and hide. I can't hide from God. I go right back to him and say, God, I messed up. I did something I shouldn't have done. I said something I shouldn't have said. I went somewhere I shouldn't have went. I was communicating with someone I shouldn't have been communicating to. I was allowing someone too close to be in my life that I know I shouldn't have been there, because we don't match up. We don't believe the same thing. We don't do the same stuff. We don't have the same desires of understanding that God, you are the best. And it was for me to have to go to God and say, hey God, this is what's going on with me. This is what's happening. This is where I'm at right now. And it's an intimate conversation between me and God, knowing that God is the creator of it all. I'm not going to go to a person and put all of my heart upon that person. That person is not going to be able to do anything for you. I cannot go to a person and say to you, can you pray for me? Because I need some help. There's a time and a day for that, but the only person that's going to be able to pray for you the best is your own self. That you need to pray for your own self, what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you're desiring. It's only you that's going to be able to bring out the best of you and a good close communication with God. And today, I just want to go upon that first commandment. And then the rest of the week, I'm going to continue to keep on going to the rest of these commandments to just really put them out there, to say them, to realize that this stuff is not here to damage you, to slow you, to hinder you, to do anything bad to you. These commandments are here to really just, in reality, let you know what it is that you're already doing. You're great. But there's little tweaks that we just have to make. These commandments are here to let us know how it is that we should be able to be respectful towards each other, so that we can be able to have a great line of communication with each other, so that we're not living in any sort of fear with each other, and we understand what the expectations are of each other. So I don't have to dance around, is this person okay? Is this happening with it? No, you're in a very good, clear communication. And the main thing that I'm going to say is being out of the confusion, because the confusion is all of not of God in any sort of way. God brings us out of confusion. And that's the power of what these 10 commandments are able to do. Bring you out of that confusion, to be able to say, yeah, let's go ahead and work on this. Let's dial in and work hard in this and work into this direction. Let's get away from that. Let's not do that anymore. Let's stay away from that, because that's going to start to slow you down. That's going to start to make you feel, I'm not sure and I don't knows. And I'm not sure and I don't knows is that confusion. And you want to stay as far away from that as absolutely possible. And that is exactly what these commandments are all about. To be able to guide us, to be able to be free, to be able to be in peace, be able to have just the grace that we're looking for, that we need, that we desire, that we're desiring that we have something inside of us that we absolutely just must fulfill. And a lot of us are walking around just confused and don't know. And a lot of us are hearing stories from people that are telling us stuff that it makes it even harder for you to believe, because you're like, that this doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound logical in any sort of way. But even for me to, oh, that's a very interesting plane right there. Even for me to sit here and say that God wanted to, that Moses came to God in a way of, please show yourself to the rest of the people and not just to me, that God said, all right, I could do that. And he made it happen. And that's the power of what I'm going to say that he will do again for you, that he has done for me. When I was saying I was hurting, I was damaged, I didn't know, and I'm unsure, I was like, God, I need you to just show up for me. I need you to do something for me. I need you to make it happen for me, because I'm lost, man. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make anything happen. And on that first day, on the day that I really started to just understand these commandments, and I really started to just let me check that out. I was yelling, I was begging, I was screaming, I was pleading. I was saying, God, do this for me. I need you to do this for me, because otherwise I'm not gonna be here no more. I can't handle what's going on with me. I can't deal with it. I can't take it. I don't know what to do. And I started to just start to slowly but surely just really get into this. And then today was one of the first steps that I've taken to be able to really get myself to be able to get out of the slavery that I was in, to get out of the fear that I was in, to get out of the just madness that I was in. And now I was understanding that the first commandment is just God, praise God. There's nothing else that you should be praying to and praising to. There's nothing else that you should be pleading to and begging to. There's nothing else that you should be relying upon to be able to help you. There's nothing else out here. And once you understand who God is and what he is, and then you understand who Jesus is and what he is, you're gonna start to fade away from everything that you're doing. Because there's one thing that I know for a fact, that everything on this planet is trying to make disappear, and that's the name of Jesus. And the name of Jesus is an extremely powerful thing, because the name of Jesus is saying that you represent something very, very specific. That you're representing the one true God that created this and created us. That you're representing that. And that's something that is very, very powerful, because that's the name that is able to get you out of a lot of the problems that you have. And then you're going to say to me, oh, Mark, you're talking about Jesus, you're talking about God, you're talking about the Spirit, now you're praying to multiple people and multiple things. No, you're praying to the same thing. Because God, the God that came on the clouds, the God that came down on fire, that's not a God that we are able to communicate with. But God had to figure out how to be able to. He didn't have to figure out, he already knows how to figure out how to be able to make sure that we as a people can be able to have communication, be able to see him, be able to understand him, be able to relate to him. And that's where a human came that looks like us, acts like us, but he's not us. He's not us in any sort of way. Because the same way that God itself was able to come and be able to do what it was able to do, Jesus was able to do those same type of miracles. And there's no human being on this planet that could do such miracles. There's no human being on this planet that could just feed people out of nothing. There's no human being on this planet that could just change water into something that it wasn't. There's no human being that could do the things that Jesus was doing. And there's no way. And if a human being can sit out here and say it, then let's replicate it, let's see it, and let's get it done. But you can't. You got to do it in sneaky ways. You got to be deceitful about it, and that is all of what the devil, the Satan, the whatever is all about. That's all that he is. He's deceitful. He can make something appear to be good, but it's not actually truly good. And that's where God is all about. You believe in God, you put all your faith in God, you're going to know that everything is good. Everything is satisfying. Everything is fulfilled. You're not going to get to a point that you're just like, it's not giving me what I'm looking for. And that still is where I would still continuously say today, from the day that I started, that today I am only more excited about what it is that I'm doing with getting closer to God than the day that I started. Yes, things have been challenging because of some things that I had to let go of. And these things have been really, really challenging because of some of these commandments that I was realizing that's what was slowing me down. But once I continue to keep working on it, and today, still keep working on it, and will for the remainder of my life, continue to keep working upon these commandments to be able to figure out how to be able to get myself away from the things of the flesh out here in this world that are slowing me down, that are hindering me, to get more into knowing and understanding what God is all about and living in the Spirit of God, as opposed to living in this real reality of God. That this reality is toxic, is what I could say, because it's tainted by something that wants to just destroy everything and destroy everybody and destroy who God is. God is so powerful that it can't be destroyed. But there's something out here that is trying to take all of God's people away. The same way that everyone wants to enslave everybody, wants to try to damage everybody, destroy everybody, kill everybody, do all that to everybody. They want to get people away from God. And they want to try to strip everything about God away. They want to try to bring God to you as some sort of just evil entity that's just out to just destroy you and destroy everything. And that is not at all what he's all about in any sort of way. He's here to make sure that we are able to get into a better place. To get to a place that I know you're trying to hurt me. I know you want to harm me. And I can even look at this camera right here, right now and say that I know you want to hurt me. I know you want to see me damaged. I know you want to destroy me. I know you want to see everything that I'm doing fail. I know you want everything that I ever continue to do in my life to fail. And I still love you. I still appreciate you. And I still help you. I don't care if you think that way about me. And that's the power of who God is. Because he knows that I have enough. And I have enough that if someone wants to try to take, that I am still able to give to them so that they are able to have enough. But even though I know that you want everything bad to possibly happen to me,
I know that you want nothing in my life to be able to move forward. I know that you want everything of mine to just get destroyed every time I even think about starting it. I know you want that from me. And God has let me know, it's okay. It's okay that I don't need to put any hate. I don't need to put any envy. I don't need to put any jealousy. I don't need to put any rage. I don't need to put any energy. I don't need to put any thought into the concept of harming. All I have to think about is, how can I help you? Because if you feel that way about me and you're realizing that nothing that you're doing is able to slow me down and stop me and get me off track, then something in you is going to start to change. And that's the power of what I'm going to say a true believer of God is all about. That they're going to be able to represent something that's going to be able to let someone try to damage you, try to hurt you, try to destroy you, try to just go so far and realize that they can't do it, to just say, maybe I want to be a part of that. Maybe I want to figure out how to be able to get on that. Maybe I should figure out a little bit more about what they're doing, because everything I'm doing is actually just hurting my own self and backlashing on me. But that person is still moving forward. And that's where I'm going to say God is going to be the most powerful being ever to show himself and come back and be able to recreate what it is that he created there for all of us to be able to see, to let everyone know. I don't care how much and how hard you try to damage, he's still here to be able to help us. He's still here to be able to bring us, because he's given us that grace. And right now we're living under grace because he's doing what he's doing. But it's not going to be forever. And that's for me to sit here and say, please pray. Get a better understanding of knowing who God is. Get a better understanding of knowing who Jesus is. Get a better understanding of knowing how to be able to live and be led by the Spirit of this planet. Get a better understanding of it, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get yourself that level of success that you want. Because right now, trying to hurt people, harm people, damage people, destroy people, you think you're getting success because you get a little feel good for a moment, because you watch someone get burnt down. You watch someone get hurt. You watch someone get fired. You watch someone get hurt. You watch someone having to keep going in and out of the hospital all the time because they don't know what and this and that. You get a little feel goods for a moment, but that feel goods for a moment always goes away, where God's feel goods keeps going forever. And with that, I just want to say thank you. I say thank you for a very interesting day for me to continue to keep on doing what it is that I'm doing, and keep on working what it is that I'm working on, and keep on asking and praying and wondering more about God, God, wondering more about how it is to be able to perfect what it is that I'm doing, to be able to be a better person for you, to be able to represent something more for someone else so that they can be able to see you through me. I'm just a nobody, and I appreciate the fact of being a nobody, because I would rather be a nobody than something so great, because then I would have so much on my shoulders to have to stand up to. But I'm so happy that I am insignificant, that God, you are the one that is speaking and showing and representing what it is that I do. And I'm going to continue to keep on wanting to keep doing that, knowing that I want to be able to bring more people to you. And more people that I can bring to you, the not better I'm going to be. I'm better already. I'm better as is. But the more that come, God is the one that's going to be better. That I don't have that desire. I don't have this. That's too much weight on a human being's shoulders. That's Jesus's role. That's God's role. God's role, he's got so much more to have to worry about than we ever would possibly have to worry about out here. And I'm so thankful to know that what it is that I do is able to be able to help someone out. What it is that I'm able to do is able to bring someone closer to understanding themselves. What it is that I'm able to do is realizing that there's some of us out here that are confused. We're like, am I here? Am I there? What am I? What do I do? What is this? And I'm able to bring you out of that confusion, to be able to lead you to something that's going to be able to bring you that level of success that you want, and that's being able to get you closer to God. And I'm thankful to know that not everyone, the more and more I keep reading my book, the more and more I keep understanding, not everybody is for God. Not everybody cares. Not everybody wants. Not everybody desires. But for the ones that do want, the ones that do desire, the ones that do have that inside of them, that just, I got to figure out my life here, because I don't know what's going on. That's where God is looking for you. That he's looking for you. He's desiring you. He's here to be able to help you. And he's going to bring you that help. And when he brings you that help, you're going to have no choice but to just stand up and do what it is that I do right now, and get at and put in action. I'm trying to get to the next person to be able to share your story, share something about God, share something about Jesus, share something about yourself, so that the next person can be able to get into that same way that you've been able to get to. It's no longer time for us to just sit and do nothing. It's time for us to stand up and speak and say and show and bring inspiration to others, because I'm just a human being. And what it is that I'm able to do out here, you can do the same thing. Thank you.